Welcome to Interviewing the Legends with today's guest, Andy Glass, founding member of prog group Solstice.
Hello, everybody. Once again, this is Ray Shasho on Interviewing the Legends, voted best band in Prog Magazine's latest annual readers poll, and arriving on an exuberant wave of positivity created by previous albums Sia and Light Up, both widely acclaimed within the prog community and beyond. Clann completes the most recent phase of Solstice's 40-plus year career. As band member, founder, composer, guitarist, winner of Prog Magazine's most recent Best Guitarist Prog Award, Andy Glass explains, Sia made me realize that potential, and by the time we were working on Light Up, the whole band had raised its game. I believed then that a trilogy of album was what it would take to create our best work and track that journey. Clann is the final album in the Sia Trilogy, and it's everything I'd hope for it would be. Let's hope the universe also likes it. Clann manages to cover a great deal of musical ground on its nearly 40-minute running time, and Solstice will be supporting the release of Clann with a string of live dates, including festival appearances in the UK, Europe, and I'm crossing my fingers, North America. The band's live work has been fundamental to their growing popularity with a wide audience demographic. Please welcome guitarist, songwriter, and founding member of UK progressive rock band Solstice, Andy Glass, to Interviewing the Legends. Hello, Andy.
Hey, Ray. Great to see you, man. I'm
Good
not
to see
sure I
you.
need to add. I'm not sure I need to add anything to that intro, man. I think you just covered it all.
Well, I had to cut it down. You did have a 40-year career. I mean, I can't get it all in. Andy, how was the Fusion Festival?
Oh man, I mean, well, so we had typically we'll do like 2 weekends of rehearsals before we set out for the year's gigging, and of course we've got a tour coming up. So the second weekend was just last weekend for Fusion, and on the Friday night, Jess called me up and she said, "Man, I'm really not feeling good. I'm not sure I'm going to be much use, man.
I heard,
So I said, yeah. So I said, well, just get to bed early and let's see how it goes. And on the Saturday, she just couldn't sing, and she was heartbroken, man. And I was kind of a bit terrified. First gig of the year, and no singer, right? But as you probably know, we have several incredible singers in the band, and our latest addition to the family is Leonie Jane Kennedy. I mean, I don't know if you've come across her, but she's a UK artist, singer-songwriter. She's an endorsee with PRS Guitars. She's phenomenal. And she was already pegged to join us on the tour. And she has a very busy schedule, but she planned to come to Fusion just to see the band because she'd never actually seen the band live. So I'm like, Leonie, you were coming to see the band tomorrow. Well, now you're doing the show. Her and Diane and Ebony, had basically a day to get it together.
No pressure.
No pressure. And, they're just such pros, they're just amazing people and great. And they were like, yeah, we can do this.
Sure.
And, it was tough, really tough for us and for the audience, who were obviously looking forward to seeing the show and seeing Jess, to not have her with us. But we were lucky. I mean, Fusion is if there was ever a safe space, to have to do something like that, it's the Fusion audience. And by the time we came to play, they all knew what to expect. They knew that Jess wasn't going to be there, so they were kind of behind us. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And it was a great gig. It was a great gig, man. So thanks for asking. And yeah, but you know, I hope it never happens again. And I'm really excited to get out on the Clann tour. You know, it's going to
I
be
read the
great.
reviews. The reviews were great. So the girls filled in nicely. And didn't you contact Jess on stage by phone or something like that?
Yeah, I kind of wanted the audience to give her a vibe, you know,
That was
and
nice.
send their love, and it was real nice, and they did that, and so yeah,
That
yeah,
was very, very nice. You
yeah.
mentioned PRS guitars. I had Paul Reed Smith on the show.
Really?
Yeah, I
Okay,
did. Yeah.
okay. Well, I shouldn't say this, but you know, I mean, they're beautiful guitars, but
Hmm.
I just don't connect with them for some reason. It's a very
Right.
personal thing.
Sure.
But that's what Leone plays, and a lot of great players play, of course, you know. So that's very cool, man. You got to speak to him. Great.
Yeah, he told me how he got started, just hanging around backstage,
Oh,
sneaking in
really?
backstage, basically, and then trying to sell his very first guitars to artists. And that's how it all started.
Brilliant. And that's the kind of drive you need, man. You got to
Yeah.
go out there and show people what you're doing, you know.
Yeah.
Otherwise, no one knows and nothing happens.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, the new album, man. Okay, ready for this? This is my review of the new album.
Okay.
Okay. Clann by UK prog band Solstice has become one of my favorite albums in 2025. A
Whoa.
brilliant and ingenious blend of divine vocalization, profound violin, fused by impeccable bass and electric guitar. An eclectic and soothing mix of neo-progressive rock, jazz, funk, and elements of art and space rock. Every track will surely illuminate the soul. That's what I thought about it.
Oh, that's a beautiful review. I love that, man. I need that written down. I need to put that on my wall.
I'll send it
That's
to you.
magic. Okay, do, you know, I mean, I'm so pleased to hear that, Ray,
Mhm.
because, you know, I kind of think of it as a bit of, laughingly really, but as a prog sandwich, you know, and I wasn't too sure what people would make of it because, you know, the opening track and the closing track are probably the sort of thing that you would expect, you know,
Right.
but there's some kind of unusual stuff in the middle there, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I've been through, like, should we be putting this on the album? I don't even know, you know. So I'm so pleased to hear that you enjoyed it, man. That's magic.
Well, some of the things they say about it lyrically, the album continues to establish solstice themes of love, joy, peace, harmony, and acceptance. Yet Clan admits that not everything in the garden is always rosy. Somebody
So
said
true.
that, and it was, yeah, pretty much right, I think.
So true. Yeah. You
Yeah,
know, I've always been, you know, I try not to make political commentary
right.
because, you know, in social media, and, you know, because it rarely leads to anything
It'll
positive, you
piss
know.
off somebody.
Exactly, you know,
You can't
exactly
please
that,
everyone.
and you know, you don't want to alienate anyway anyone, and particularly a
Right.
lot of those, because a lot of those people actually we share so many things that we
Exactly.
agree on, but I do like to, you know, kind of overtly, if to some extent anyway, you know, kind of get those things out of my system through the lyrics. But and you know, I mean, it is quite overt in places on this album. Generally, I try and do it in a way that you can take it however you wish, you
Yeah,
know. But
exactly.
yeah, yeah. There's some anger underlying some of those words, you know.
What I love about the band, first of all, violins definitely belong in Prague. I love it, man. It's
Absolutely,
perfect, you know.
abs-
And the girls you have are phenomenal.
Oh, I know, right?
They
I
are
know.
incredible.
You know, I thank my lucky stars every day and kind of think, how the hell did this happen? You know,
Yeah, exactly.
because they're all so incredible in their own right. You know, as you know, Ebony and Leone and
Mhm.
Diane are all doing incredible work as solo artists. You know, yet here they are in my little band. You know, and they're just incredible. Yeah.
And they mesh so well together, you
Yeah,
know.
that's right. And I think the dynamic is really it's because there's multi-generations in the band.
Hmm.
It really has a kind of family feel to it, which is actually what led to the name of the album, you know, because within the band itself, it has a family feel, and it has a very different dynamic to what it would be if everyone was the same generation,
Right,
you know.
right.
That's where the Fleetwood Mac shit goes wrong, right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
But
did.
but you know, because you know, we got band dads and we got band daughters and all that stuff. You know,
Right.
everyone's very protective and
Yeah.
it's beautiful. And also outside what's become clearer and clearer to me over the years is the prog community is such a tight community. You know, it's very supportive. The bands are all support each other. The
That's right.
audience support each other. Those people in the audience, they end up running festivals and concerts and little labels, and you know, they all do stuff for each other. Here we are. It's the same here right now, you know.
Hmm.
So it is like a big extended family. So that's actually what the album title is all about, you know.
You know, you guys, when you're on stage, you can feel those vibes of like a family. And
Yeah.
it's almost like a religious experience watching you guys on stage. It really is.
Wow.
I think it's
Wow.
awesome. You know,
Yeah, it's
I hate bands that just sit there and play and turn their back to the audience and that kind of thing, you know?
oh
That's why
yeah.
I was never a Clapton fan because of that. He's a great guitar player, but you know, he's not a showman, you know?
You know, it's okay. No, that's right. I mean, yeah, if Pink Floyd can do it because they always have this incredible, you know, incredible visual
Right.
experience around them, and
Yeah.
that works, you know. But I think
Right.
if you're going to see a band, you need, you know, if you don't get some interaction,
Hmm.
then it's really missing something. And I think it behoves the artists to communicate in some way with the audience. You know, that's what it's got to be that, you know.
I agree.
So yeah, I love it.
What one of your biggest fans, Steve Wilson?
Uh, Sorry, what are my biggest fans?
Yes, Steve Wilson, right?
Oh well, yeah. I mean,
Steven
you know,
Wilson? Yeah.
yeah. I don't know about a biggest fan, but I mean, Stephen, and people like Stephen Wilson, Gregory Sporton,
Hmm.
Jerry Ewing. You know, they all came to see us as kids. You know, so we were like part of their formative years. And isn't it great, you know, that they're such huge, successful people
Yeah.
now, you know, musicians and writers, and just lucky for us, you know, that's the benefit of having a 45-year history.
Hmm.
And you know, so my advice to any other band is always, you know, keep going because, you know, this stuff it's taken 40 years to happen for me, you know,
Amazing. Yeah.
and
Amazing.
it is amazing. You know, and at this time in my life, it means so much, Ray. You know, I
Hmm.
appreciate it so much, and so much more than I would as a young man. You know,
Hmm.
so it's gold dust. You know, and I, you know, I have this incredible kind of sense of drive and motivation that is fed by that. You know.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
and you know, I'm happy to work 11 hours every day, you know, to try and make the most of this music.
Hmm.
And, you know, and I get to talk to people like you about it. I
There,
mean,
yeah.
you know, life couldn't be better right now, you know?
Well, we enjoy what we're doing. You know,
Exactly.
I've been doing this for 14 years now. I can't believe that, you know. And
Yes.
there's no money involved. I just, music is my life, since I was a kid, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's interviewing my heroes. That's what I'm doing.
That's fantastic, man. It's
Yeah,
great. I love it.
exactly.
I love it. And, you know, and your subscribers and your listeners, you know,
Hmm.
they love it too, man.
They
So
do.
it's great, isn't it? Isn't it great?
Unfortunately, a lot of the guys I've interviewed are no longer with us, and it's sad. You know, like Joey Mullen just passed away. You know, they affect me because I had very intimate conversations with these guys, and
Of course.
and I haven't had one bad interview. Everybody's been very, very nice. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I never had a
And
conflict.
great. That's great. And that's, you know, that's what music and art's all about, isn't it? You know,
Yeah,
so
that's why
it's
we
amazing.
turned away from politics because music is our savior.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth.
I wouldn't have survived through high school and, you know, all those times without music. Yeah, I really wouldn't.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, Steve Wilson said about Twin Peaks. He said it was gentle, reflective, and airy with pastoral, folky strains, yet built into a soaring expression of rapturous celebration and spiritual freedom. He's got away with words too, doesn't he?
Steven said that?
Yeah, he did say that.
Dang, man.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, because he's been super supportive, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, he comes to see the shows from time to time.
Mhm.
And when I'm working on an album, you know, I'll generally send him some things, you know, give me some feedback. And when I was working on this album, he was, you know, when I heard the Harmony Codex, man, I just thought, wow, you know, I haven't heard anything that sounds better than this. You know, maybe, you know, it's kind of up there with Asia, you know,
Right.
for me. And so I thought, okay, this is going to be, I'm going to set the bar really high. I'm going to try and raise my game. And this is the bar I'm reaching for,
Mhm.
right? Stephen Wilson Harmony, the
Mhm.
Harmony Codex. And so when I sent him the album completed, he said, Andy, you're really learning. You're really learning. Yeah, your production is great, man.
It is great.
And that is, you know, I mean, when Stephen Wilson says something like that to you, you know, what more could you ever ask for, right?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So that was wonderful, and he's like many others, but you know, like Greg
Mhm.
Sporton is so supportive, man. You know,
Yeah.
when we do something, he talks about it and he tells people about it, and
Cool.
so yeah, I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Yeah. I'm going to mention some other tracks. Firefly, of course, which is a single, and it's out.
Yeah.
Again, the violins, the bass is great throughout the album, by the way. I got to compliment the bass player.
Great.
I
You'll be
love
pleased.
Firefly. It's a really good, it's a great single to be released, number one.
So that, yeah, I mean, that was the first track that I wrote that right after Light Up, you know,
Mhm.
and so we were playing that. We've been playing that for live for a couple of years, I guess.
Mhm.
And one of the things I really wanted to do was try and make it so we could play the whole album live,
Sure.
work through it on stage, because, you know, that's the ultimate rehearsal for a tune, and kind of iron stuff out and just get used to it before we recorded it. I've never been able to do that apart from our very debut album, you know, back in the 80s.
Right.
So I think that has played into the way the album's come out. You know, we played the whole thing apart from, you know, that kind of dreamy sequence in the middle of Twin Peaks, which we couldn't really do live, but everything else we played it live, and I think that plays into it. And then I think, you know, the influence of the Harmony Codex, you know, and me just like spending 2 months in this little room, apart from I came out Christmas Day, you know, to spend it with the family. The rest of the time I was just in here, man, going, how do I make this sound as good as the Harmony Codex? You know, what's he doing? What's he doing, man? You know, but so yeah, it was inspiring.
Very cool. Life, very kind of laid back. You got some jazz influences, don't you, in some of these tracks, which I love. There's a new genre, jazzy prog. How's that?
Okay, let's go with that. I mean, that was one I wasn't sure what people would think about. I mean, that's coming out tomorrow, actually, but I kind of, as a single, another single, but I don't know, it makes me feel good. You know, it makes me think of kind of summer and spring, and
Right.
it just, you know, I just thought, yeah, you know, I'm not sure I really care if other people don't get this. You know, I just think it's a nice track,
It
and
is a nice track.
and actually when I sent the demo to the band, Pete the drummer was like, "This is the best track you've ever written, man.
Oh,
I
cool.
love this." So I'm like, "Okay, great. This is definitely happening."
It's in.
It's in. It's in.
I think my favorite song is Plunk. It's got a very funky intro. Here's another genre, funky prog.
Yeah.
This one should be a top 40 hit if top 40 was only what it used to be. You know, it really would. It should have been a top 40 hit, in my opinion. There's horns in this, right?
Well, I mean, this is this is another track. I was like, oh man, I don't know what people will
Oh,
make of this,
I love it.
and a lot. I'm so pleased to hear that, and funny enough, that a few other people have said the same thing, which is ironic because I was like, I don't know if people will get this at all, but I've always been massively into a groove.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Yeah.
that, and yeah, we put that together and then we played that live. And then I was just at work one day and I thought, do you know that track needs horns, man? Let's just go full funk on it. Let's get
Right.
Tower of Power in,
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, and so I thought, oh hell, and we got we're so lucky we have these guardians who subscribe to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no money in original music, but they help us keep going. And I thought, okay, we got a few quid. Let's bring a brass section. Let's hire the studio. Let's just go nuts, right? We'll hire the studio. I'll get in some hot brass players, and let's do it, And I love it. I love
Me
it,
too. Me too.
It's
I grew up with
nuts.
that kind of music, man. I'm originally from the DC area, and R&B and soul and all that was
Yeah,
huge. So I grew
yeah,
up on that. And you mentioned Tower of Power,
yeah,
groups like that,
yeah.
Oh
It's
man.
amazing. I mean, Earth, Wind and Fire and all, and of course, in a prog setting, well, I mean, Greg's been doing it in Big Big
Hmm.
Train. Okay, not doing funky horns, but we're just nuts. I mean, it's a financial train wreck, right? To sort of bring all these people in, loads of singers and
Right.
we can't do that, but we just do it anyway, right?
Yeah.
And Greg's been doing that, and I just thought, well, I'm gonna do it too, hell.
Yeah. Well, wait till you bring them on the road with you.
Well, yeah, yeah. We got a special gig later in the year, and we're gonna bring them to that for
All
sure.
right. That'd
Yeah,
be
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Yeah, it will.
You we got to talk about your guitar playing because you had a great solo on Plunk.
Oh,
You also
thanks,
had
man.
some heavy guitar on Frippa as well.
Oh
I
yeah,
love how you
okay.
come in there. It kind of reminds me of Frank Zappa. Out of nowhere, Zappa
Oh
comes
yeah,
in. You know.
you got that, man. You got that. Yeah, it's a bit
Yeah.
of an explosion. Yeah, yeah. I mean, both those tracks, right? They're when I when I come up with an idea, and then I have to save it as a file, basically. So Plunk, I'm like in my head, it was prog and funk, which
Right.
doesn't
Right.
actually make that doesn't make Plunk, but what the hell, I'm just
Yeah.
writing out something to say. Anyway, it's ended up being the name. And with Fripper, I'm playing this little riff, and I'm thinking, and I start thinking of Fripp. I'm like, yeah, I mean, this is kind of it's got a little bit of that Frippy thing about
Yeah.
it. So I just
Yep.
save that as Fripper, and then these silly names end up sticking because no one can think of anything better.
That's I wondered about the Frippa. Now it makes sense.
Yeah,
Makes a lot of
yeah,
sense now. Yeah.
cool.
I love it because you're thinking outside the box, not just within the prog box. Because you guys are so much more than that. You're very eclectic. You can do anything. And a lot of
Yeah,
bands have done the same thing. Like King Crimson, they got out of the box completely.
yeah,
You know.
sure, sure. Well, I think you have to be true to yourself, don't you? And I mean, my, of course, I started, my first live experience was Yes,
Hmm.
so that kind of 70s prog is always going to feed into my
Right.
work and it's part of me. But I love so many different kinds of music, and so that's the stuff that inspires me, and it's the music I want to make, and it doesn't really fall necessarily into the strict prog box, which is why I think of the album as a bit of a prog sandwich,
Hmm.
and hope
Hmm.
that people like the filling,
Yeah.
because it's not necessarily what you expect.
I love it. It's a great album. It really is. And I've listened to most of your albums, and yeah, to me, this one reached a certain maturity. You know,
Well, exactly that, man.
yeah.
And that is kind of what I'd hoped for and imagined. When we did Sia,
Hmm.
uh, Jess, it's the first album Jess had ever made. It's the first time she'd ever fronted a band. She was just, and she was incredible right away. But I could see it was going to take time,
Hmm.
and her coming into the band, the whole band started lifting its game. And I'm thinking, hang on, So by the time we've done a few albums, I think we're going to get to a really good place. And I think that's what it's going to take.
Yeah, I think
It's
so.
going to take that long for the band to start really, doing what it can do, and for Jess to become what she can become, and for me to kind of get, to really focus on raising the bar in every way I can.
Sure.
And I do feel like, Clann is, from what people are saying, Clann has kind of has proved that to be right, that's just what it has taken for us to get to a good place with it, so.
It's incredible. And of course, Twin Peaks, which is awesome because it's very spacey. You kind of get a Pink Floyd feeling in the band. I love it. It's really different from the rest of the tracks. It's a 14-minute song. How did you put that one together?
Well, like anything else, it just starts with, that one came about because Jenny, my wife and the fiddle player in the band, she, last Christmas, my birthday is New Year's Eve. So,
oh, wow.
So my last birthday, end of 2023, she bought this great big present in the room. And I thought, geez, she's bought me a flat TV, like a plasma TV. And I'm thinking, but we've already got a TV. Why has she done that, man? And so I take the packaging off, and there's this, you can see it probably, maybe here. And it's this great big flight case,
Okay.
And I open it up, and inside is this beautiful twin neck guitar.
Oh, wow. What a present,
and it's
man.
like, yeah, man, what a present.
What a great wife.
What an incredible woman.
Yeah.
And it turns out, her and Pete the drummer, they've been, planning behind my back,
Cool.
He's been helping her choose something,
Yeah.
It's always dangerous buying a guitar for someone. It's like buying them a suit, because they didn't get to try it on before.
It's got to have the right fit. Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. But this was beautiful. And so the first thing I started playing was the chord sequence that has become Twin Peaks, and it's really just built around a chord sequence. And then I just kind of it just exploded, really. You just don't know where stuff comes from. It just comes from somewhere, But the song is actually, Jess's vocal on it is so beautiful, and when she came up to sing the song, I explained to her what the lyrics were from my point of view, and it's a subject that's very close to her heart, and it affected her deeply. And then she stood up and she sang it, and it made me weep, man. And I mean, when I hear that song, even now, when I was mixing that, which took a long time because it's 14 minutes, there was 199 tracks of audio to deal with. And believe me, I've heard it a lot, but still, every time I hear her sing it, and one particular point in the song, it makes me well up. I mean, you get older, man, you're more susceptible to emotion, right? But it's still now, when I hear it, I really feel it, because of her delivery of it, really.
Yeah, that track really showcases Jess.
It really does. Yeah. And actually, Greg, he said, I think this is the best thing that you've ever written, man. So I'm elated.
Yeah.
Why it's come out.
And I was so glad. I mean, this is a bonus song that you rediscovered Earth Song, because that is my favorite song. And that's how I got to know the band, from Earth Song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love that song. That for some reason it gets to your soul, that tune, It gets inside you, and it just makes you feel, I don't know, melancholy, I guess. It's such a beautiful track.
How about that? Well, that was when we recorded our debut album,
right?
Which is in '84. I just wanted something new on there, and I had this idea, and so it was really written as we were recording the album, and it was kind of it was a bit of a rush job, really.
Hmm.
But last year was the 24 was the 40th anniversary of that album. So I wanted to play a few tunes from it, just to kind of acknowledge that. Now Earth Song is it's in a very high register for the vocalist. And Jess is like, I ain't singing that, man. It's a beautiful song, but I can't sing that. And Diane's like, whew, forget it, But Ebony, she has this incredible range.
Right.
In fact, she's a classically trained singer. So if you hear her sing, I heard her sing Ave Maria.
Oh my God.
It was actually a kind of funeral. But oh my God, that girl, man, she what a voice she has. So so it was like, okay, Ebony, you want to try this, please? and she loves the song. So last year, throughout the year, we were playing that, and it was very popular with the audience. Just doing it live. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be nice to have Ebony sing a song on the album? So it's a bonus on the CD, and I think she did a beautiful job.
She did. That was originally recorded in '84, man. That's a long time ago. I got married in '83. Wow.
Yeah, most of the band weren't even born there now,
Yeah. Who was the original singer on that?
So Sandy Lee, who actually she was actually the third singer in the band, but she was the singer on that album. And I would say when most people think of Solstice in that neo-prog period,
right,
they think of Sandy Lee. She was a very charismatic singer. She was with us for a couple of years, and she was great. She was great, man. So
yeah,
so that's who most people associate with the band from that period.
Kind of like an Annie Haslam in a way,
Yeah, I mean, she kind of had that John Anderson voice.
Yeah, she did. You're right.
Yeah, she kind of had that going on because also she was from Lancashire, which is the same part of the country that John was or is from.
Where is she now?
Good question, man. So after we did, we split up in. Oh, she left the band after we'd done the album. She fell pregnant, and that complicated things a bit. And she left anyway. She left the band and she moved to Ireland. And I just lost all contact with her. And then, bizarrely, I didn't hear from her at all. And of course, this is pre, phones and internet and the rest of it. And then in 92, 91, when we recorded New Life, which was really where I just wanted to document the other material that we were playing in the 80s that would otherwise just, be lost, really. So I wanted to record that stuff. And I thought, well, who are we going to get to sing? And it was, it was hard to find someone. But anyway, I eventually found Heidi Kemp, who was fantastic. Literally the day we were about to start recording vocals for the album, I got a call from Sandy. I hadn't heard from her for like 6 or 7 years.
Right.
Andy, hi. Yeah, I'm coming over I hear you're recording an album. I'm coming over to do it. And I'm like, hang on, Sandy, hang on. We're about to start recording the vocals now. So, and I got a singer and it's, no. I got a cab outside. I'm coming. So basically I had to convince her that really wasn't going to work now, And that's the last I ever heard from her, directly. Yeah. So I don't know, buddy. I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those things,
You should do that song and have a guest, have John Anderson sing that song as a guest artist.
Oh yes, please. Yeah.
I had him on the show not long ago. He's with the Geek Band or Geek Squad or something like that.
Oh man, isn't that great?
Yeah, he's doing great.
Oh, that album's amazing, man.
It is. It is.
Yeah,
it's excellent. Those guys could play. Yeah.
And I love hearing him do that. Do that stuff which he can still do and still sing, which is pretty amazing.
I'm a big fan of John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still got that great voice.
Hmm. He's
Fabulous.
awesome. I want to
Yeah,
mention the guys in the lineup that's on this album. Of course, you on guitars and backing vocals. Jenny is on
yeah,
Jenny Newman, violin,
yeah,
who
yeah,
does an incredible job on violin. Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
She's going to be real pleased to hear you say
She
that,
is
man. I
incredible.
agree.
She's
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
Pete
I mean, she
Hensley
comes
on
from,
drums.
yeah, yeah. Who's been there since the album I just mentioned, New
Hmm.
Life. Yeah, he played on that. I mean, Clive Bunker then came. Pete went to Australia, moved to Australia for about 10 years. So
Right.
the album in the mid 90s we did, Clive Bunker did,
Y-
which was,
I saw
fair
that.
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's cool.
Um, but yeah. But yeah, so Pete's on drums. Jenny's a firebrand on that fiddle, man. She's really into the folk thing,
Hmm.
into the music, the fiddle music of Donna Gore, which is very hard and very high energy. That's her thing. So she
Hmm.
brings that to what we're doing. It's
Oh,
nice.
I love violin. I really do. Um, Jess, of course, on lead vocals. Robin Phillips, great bass player.
So Robbie, so back again, going back to '84, that Silent Dance album, Margaret Phillips,
Hmm.
Rob's mother, played
Are you serious?
Rhodes, played Fender Rhodes on that album. She's a
Wow.
very dear friend of mine, always has been.
Mm.
And before even Solstice began, we used to play together a lot, just round her house,
Hmm.
just jamming and spending time together. She's a remarkable woman, and incidentally, she was the first female tape op in Abbey Road at Abbey Road.
Wow.
So yeah, so she and George Martin auditioned her or interviewed her. He
Very
said
cool.
to her, play me I think it was Autumn Leaves in
Hmm.
E flat.
Hmm.
That was the test. So she played it in E flat, and he said, "Okay, you got the job." So she's got a background in the music business, and beautiful woman.
Hmm.
And at the time, Robin, her son, was probably, I don't know, he was like 10 or something,
Hmm.
about 10, 11. So back in the 90s there, when Clive was in the band, Craig Sutherland played bass on the album, but we wanted to do some gigs.
Right.
And so, I said, Margaret, ask Rob if he wants to do it. And he didn't get back to me, so I said, got back to Mark. Unbeknown to me, he just didn't believe it. Because funny enough, he'd been at university in the early 90s, and New Life had been like his kind of companion and
Hmm.
favorite album
Hmm.
at the time. So it was like a big deal. Anyway, long story short, yeah, he ends up joining the band, and he's been with us ever since.
Yeah,
So
his bass playing is throughout the album. I mean, he stands out. He's a good bass player.
great,
Yeah,
great,
I
nice
enjoyed
man,
him. You got
nice.
Stephen McDaniel on keyboards.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And of
He's a
course, the two incredible voices, Ebony Buckle and is it Diane? Is that how you pronounce
Diane Crutcher.
Diane
Yeah, Diane.
Crutcher on backing
Yeah, yeah,
vocals?
yeah.
You got all these
So,
women in your band, man.
I know, and they're amazing, amazing women.
That's
So
great.
Diane has a new project that's been going for a little while called Culture, and so Diane's thing is heavy rock. The heavier, the better.
Really?
That's her thing. Yeah, metal.
Hmm.
You know, she goes nuts for it. So, and Culture is that. It's that. It's very melodic, but it's very heavy. That's her thing. And
Hmm.
she's got an damn. As we found out on Sunday, I mean, we knew it anyway, but she has got such a powerful voice. It's actually a very soulful voice, but super powerful. So, when she was, yeah, I mean, damn, loud. I'm talking loud, man.
Hmm.
Like a real loud male rock voice.
Really?
She really punches it out. So her thing is that
Hmm.
world of heavy metal rock. That's what she's into. So Culture, yeah, check it out. It's great
I
stuff.
will.
Their third single's coming out, I think, any day now. Um, And then Ebony, you know, she was voted #1
Hmm.
best new artist in the prog thing. She's just coming up in Prog Mag. She's her career is blossoming. She's off to, unfortunately, she can't do half of the Clann tour because she's got an amazing tour in the Netherlands with
Wow.
an artist over there. So her thing's taking off. So we have to have this kind of pool of great singers. So there's always at least 2 that can come and do the gig. That's the way it's worked out.
You planned it that way.
So I'm very glad we got Leonie as part of the family now and
Good.
she's 24. I
Really?
mean, hopefully you'll come across her and you'll check her out. But
Hmm.
she's wow, what a muso, you know, and another lovely human being. She's
Hmm.
just great.
You know what's so
So
cool is like they have different styles besides
yeah,
Solstice, and you
oh
can
yeah,
use that for future
yeah,
tracks. You know, you create
absolutely.
a song around those vocals, which is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's a tune on Light Up called Wongle #9, which is another
Hmm.
kind of funky thing. And Leonie's like preparing some stuff. She's playing acoustic guitar and so on.
Yep.
And she's like, "Oh man, I love this track. What do you think of this?" And then she just rips out this incredible heavy electric guitar over it. And I'm like, "Yeah." So we tried it on Sunday,
Did
and
you?
yeah, she just comes out with her electric, and we just blow some stuff
Oh,
together.
wow.
She's
Very
like, "Oh
cool.
man." Yeah, because I'm like a bit ambivalent about the idea of another electric player in
Yeah.
electric
Yeah, of
guitar
course.
player in the band,
Yeah.
right? But then not with her, man. You know, she
Yeah.
walks in the room and just lays this stuff down, which is so like in tune with what I'm doing, you
Yeah.
know, but totally our own thing, and it's exciting. So yeah, there's always more possibilities kind of
Sure.
coming online for future work, you know.
Exactly. I want to talk about the tour, of course. You had
Sure.
Fusion,
Yeah.
and now you got a pretty a good size tour. But I heard you were talking about U.S. dates. Is that going to happen?
Yeah, well, we're signed at the moment to a US label, which is Prog Rock Essentials. So
Hmm.
Mark is based in Chicago. And, you know, it's a
Okay.
boutique label, but
Right.
Unitopia are on it, you know, and Chester Thompson's on it, and you know, he's got some great people on there.
Hmm.
So obviously that opens a few doors for possible work in the US.
Yeah.
Um, so there's a few things in the pipeline,
Good.
and
Good.
you know, I'm not allowed to say anything at the moment, but I think there's a good chance next year that we'll get out there and do something,
Well, come
you
to
know.
Florida, man.
Well, that's one of the places.
Good.
Well,
Good.
Miami anyway, you know. Yeah, so we'll see. I'm keeping my, I mean, because we're all like, we'd love to come out and do it,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah. There are
Uh,
more prog bands from overseas coming now. Like Haken did a nice
yes,
tour here.
yes,
Big Big Train came
yes.
over here. I'm glad to see that. You
It's
know.
great. And it's a question of I mean, you know, obviously Big Train and
Hmm.
Haken as well, particularly probably, you know, there are a few steps up the ladder from us, you
Right.
know, but we're climbing it. And so maybe that would become viable at some point.
Yeah.
I think our best shot for next year is to get on a couple of festivals, you know,
You guys
that
do a
are
lot of those. You do a lot of
and we do a
festivals.
lot of them, and we're very comfortable in that scene.
Hmm.
But you know, that's kind of more viable for us is where a festival is able to bring a band over from Europe to just play that one
Sure.
show or play it. So fingers crossed, we're working on it.
You're going to be at the Midsummer Prague Festival on the
Yes,
May 23rd, 24th in the Netherlands.
yes.
And Neil Morris is going to be there as well, I think.
Yeah, he's on. He's the main attraction on the
Yeah.
day we're playing. That's a heavy festival. You know, this is what's so rewarding for me. You know, I've
Hmm.
been chasing that festival for a few years, and
Yeah.
there's and a couple in the States as well. You know, and just gradually, you know, you chip away, and you get there. If you just keep working, you get there.
Perseverance.
Yeah, so we got that. Yeah, we got that, and I'm really pleased about that one. That's good for us. I'm very keen to. I know there's a huge progressive audience in Europe and in the States, and the vast majority of them don't know us.
Right.
So I'm very keen to try and build up our presence, our profile outside the UK, because probably 90% of the audience that we have are in the UK. And we know that there's many more people that would probably like what we're doing if we can get in front of them. So that's my mission, that's my mission, really.
If you came to the States with maybe 2 other bands and do a tour, like with Neil Morris or Big Train or something like that, that'd be great.
Oh yeah. It would be fantastic. It would be fantastic. It doesn't help that there's 8 of us in the band. That makes it a little trickier. But but yeah, it'll happen. It'll come.
That'd be great.
I believe that.
I think it will happen. What happened with 3 Sticks?
Yeah, well, 3 Sticks. It's kind of funny that it's. That it gets, to me, it's slightly funny that it gets mentioned in these interviews. It's just part of the backstory, isn't it? But 3 Sticks was, like all musicians, we have to make money and to survive. And original music is not a source of income. It just never is, unless you're right at the very top of the game. Right. So one of the things that we do, me and Jenny do, and Jenny got me involved in this when we first got together, is we play for ceilidhs, which are dances, right? So their parties, their weddings, their functions, whatever it is. There's a ceilidh circuit, and these gigs pay. They pay properly, whereas you go out with Solstice and no one gets paid properly, and me and Jenny get nothing at all. So it's so that's always been an income stream for us, playing ceilidhs. There's work there, and so we do it. So 3 Sticks is our ceilidh band. And it just happened that Jenny writes some of the songs. I mean, most of it's traditional music or music from Europe or wherever, but Jenny also writes some great tunes. So we did a couple of albums, and Jenny's really keen to do another one, which to record some of those tunes. So it's a great thing, but it's not something that is intended to be a project like Solstice, or you know what I mean. It's one of the things that we do, so that continues, and we did a lot of festivals last year, folk festivals, and we're doing it tomorrow night. We're going to go and play at a ceilidh. We do them all the time because they're our bread and butter. You know?
You gotta stick with that, man. And that's you, Peter, and Jenny.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And the 3 of us, we got one tomorrow, not far away. So, yeah.
I was a top 40 DJ back in the late 70s in radio. I was in Annapolis, Maryland, media market radio. But on the side, we did parties, DJ at parties. Because like you said, you earn the extra money. And radio didn't pay that great. It's like being a musician, basically.
Sure, of course.
Yeah, you have to do what you got to do.
And when we do the private work, and there's lots of it, there's normally us, and then there's a DJ.
Yeah.
So they do the ceilidh dancing, and then when everyone's had enough to drink, they get out. The DJ comes out and starts playing the dance hits. And
it's fun. Yeah.
Yes.
Have a good time.
Yeah.
What's the next album gonna be? Any idea?
No, none at all. So, except I know there will be one. So, with Clann, like I said earlier, with Firefly, I wrote that almost immediately after we'd put out Light Up. But what's happening immediately after this release is we're going on tour. So as soon as when I get back from tour, I'll be writing again. And I'll be honest, I've no idea what's going to come out until I sit down and start.
It'll come to you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Because the music always gets seeded seeded either by something that I've heard, you know. So Firefly, for example, I'm a big fan of a UK band called Exploring Birdsong. Okay,
I gotta look them up.
fantastic band, and their singer Lindsay Ward is extraordinary singer. You know, one of the great singers of that generation. She'll be recognized as that, I know. She's like in her 20s. But they're a big fan of a band called Agent Fresco, okay, which are from Iceland. So I thought I'll check them out, and I listened to them, and mate, they're incredible, and that made me want to do something. And what came out was Firefly, you know, and then Fripper, for example, you know, I do a lot of guitar teaching. 20-minute lessons in schools, you know, one kid after the next one. And of course, sometimes they don't show up, right? But I'm playing a lot, so I'm like warmed up. So there's 20 minutes, no one's come, I'm playing, and I'm doing digga. Oh, that sounds a bit like a Fripper thing, you know, a Fripp thing. And then that's where the riff comes from.
Cool.
And then I come back and I start working it, you know. So things will come, you know, but I haven't started that process yet.
Man, I wish you were in the States so I can take lessons from you. You know, I play, but some of the teachers I've had, you know, they're trying to teach me theory and that kind of crap. And, you know, I just want to say, teach me how to play comfortably numb, you know?
Sure. I mean, most of my lessons are like that. They're like, you know, I mean, these are little kids mostly, you know, school. It's all school.
Yeah.
They want to play Seven Nation Army, or they want to play, funny enough, they often want to play Smoke on the Water. One day,
the easiest song in the world.
Yeah. But one day I had this kid come in, right? And he goes, no, I never forgot the guitar here. And he goes, can you play me? He played me this little snippet, right? And he goes, I want to learn this, right? I don't know if you'll hear this.
Yep, roundabout.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm like, God, yeah, I want to teach you that. Amazing. That's one of the best tracks that's ever been written and recorded, right? So he goes, I say, do you know who it's by? He said, no idea. He's got no idea. I said, you know what it's called? No idea. And I'm like, okay, you know, so I tell him. And I was like, okay, let's get started, you know. There's this intro, and then it goes into this incredible... No, I don't want to learn any of that. I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah, I just want to learn that bit that goes boom, flame. Because that's the little snippet on the meme or whatever on TikTok. The little 10-second thing on TikTok. And that's what... So this is the thing. The kids, they're like, oh, I love that, because it is great. But that's all that they want to know.
That's what their mind. That's how their mind works nowadays. It's got to be fast and quick.
They don't care who wrote it or who's played it. They're not interested in any of their body of work. It's sad, isn't it?
It's very sad, man.
So I said to him, no, I'll teach you the whole thing or nothing.
Yeah. What do you say?
And you need to go and do some homework. Your homework is like, listen to some of this music. Right. Actually listen to it, you know. But but anyway, so the most of the kids, they just want to play. They just want to have a little play and have fun. You know, it's very, very few of them. I'd say out of every 100 kid I teach, maybe one of them is actually going to go on and you know, really be a player. But what I do, I've run this rock school for 25 years. You know,
really?
So,
wow.
Yeah, and I meet, like it happened the other night. Me and Pete went to Ronnie Scott's to see Keith Carlock, who was one of the best drummers in the world, probably the. And this young adult comes up and goes, "Hey Andy, how you doing?" This happens all the time. Now, last time I saw him, you know, he was about 10, you know, and like down here somewhere. Now he's a guy, and I'm like, hello, you know. He's like, yeah, I used to come to rock school. Oh, well, that narrows it down. You know, that's about 1,000 people. And but what I find is they're all still, those guys that come through rock school, and a lot of the kids I teach, they're all still getting pleasure from playing.
Oh, good.
You know, of being involved in, you know, not it's not a serious thing necessarily. but that's not what it's about, you know.
Hmm.
It's about getting something from music, and they still enjoy it, whether they even if they're just playing a bit at home on their own.
Hmm.
And some of those cats, do you know Tesseract?
Hmm.
Tesseract are amazing kind of prog metal sort of band. So those guys were at my rock school,
Very
and
cool.
now they're touring the world and one of the greatest bands in their genre.
Huh.
So it's very rewarding work.
I've noticed, especially on YouTube, women have gotten so good at lead
Oh yeah.
guitar. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
they're
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah. Well, like I say, check out Leonie Jane Kennedy.
Yeah,
She's a classic case of that.
they just blow me away. They really
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it's not a man's world anymore,
not
buddy.
anymore.
No,
No.
no, no, sir.
Yeah, Alice
Right.
Cooper takes advantage of that. With
Yeah,
Nita Strauss and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
just
As did Michael Jackson, actually. I mean,
Mhm.
there's some fantastic players out there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you
And do
ready
you
for
know
this
what?
tour?
Are we ready for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to get out there and do it. We are ready for it. It's
Cool.
only I don't know, a few weeks away now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been getting the merchandise ready. Look
Hmm.
at this. This is a thing. This is a pin, obviously,
Hmm.
right? That goes on your thing here. And on the
Nice.
back is a QR code where you download the album. So this thing,
Really?
'cause a lot of
That's
people
that's
don't have CDs anymore.
very
And
clever.
a lot of people download our stuff.
Right.
But still, guys, from our generation, we like something,
Hmm.
something
Hmm.
tangible and physical. So I
Yeah.
thought, well, this might work, nice little. But yeah, so I'm getting there's a lot of organizing. This is going to be the first time. It's a bit of an experiment, right? But we're the first time we're actually going out and doing a week, consecutive nights
Hmm.
in a van, hotels at night, but
Hmm.
traveling together in a van. For the last 5 years, we've only ever done like one-off gigs where, we'll go to Europe or we'll go to Manchester or we'll go
Right.
to London or whatever it is. Everyone drives down there, we do the gig, we go home. So this is going to be different. And it's also an experiment in viability, really, because it's whether we're going to be able to cover it. Well, I know we're not going to cover it. I know that for a fact. It's just a question of how much money we lose. And if we don't lose too much, then we'll do it again. And if we don't kill each other, that's the other thing.
That's the other thing, right?
We're going to be in this splitter van, 9 of us, with the gear in the back, and I
Huh.
mean, huge journeys, but a few hours here, a few hours there. So it'll be interesting, but I
It'll
think
be
we're in a
fun.
good place. Yeah, I think it'll be amazing.
Yeah.
I
I'm
mean,
looking.
there's nothing like that, just being able to be completely
Yeah.
focused on what you're doing, which is playing live,
Right.
and also, after you've done a few gigs one night and after, you start getting good,
Hmm.
you start
Hmm.
getting good. So the last gig of the run with Leonie, I've arranged to get it filmed and recorded, and so you'll probably see it next year sometime.
Good. Are you going to release like a video of a
Well,
concert video?
we did returns. I mean, I put a lot of stuff online anyway, but we
Right.
did Return to Property last year, which is
Right.
like a Blu-ray with a very cool documentary actually that
Hmm.
Sean Blake made, who is the guy who did the art for all 3 albums. He's an animator, successful animator, although whether AI will allow him to continue that work or not, I don't know. But anyway, he made the documentary, which is great. So that's on the Return to Property Blu-ray, as is the concert film, of course. And it's a nice double vinyl release. So that was a nice release for last year, and
Yep.
it sort of bridged the gap between the 2 albums because it takes a couple of years for us to make an album.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking next year maybe we'll do another
Good.
live album, and
Yeah.
then in 2027 we'll have a new studio album.
Is that festival? Is that a Fairport convention?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah, Property. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we played to 20,000 people, right?
That's a biggie.
I mean, that's for us. That's probably the biggest show we'll ever do.
Mhm.
I mean, it was phenomenal. And there's one stage, 20,000 people, and they're all listening.
What
What an
yeah.
opportunity. And fortunately, the band played well, and we got the whole thing recorded, and it's a nice document of the band
Right.
at the time. So
Very
I'm really
cool.
happy with that.
Yeah, I had Peggy on the show. He's cool. He's
Oh,
such a
yeah,
nice guy.
great. Yeah. So, because he's a lovely guy, and
Yeah.
we actually played Cropperty before in '98
Mhm.
when Clive Bunker was in the band, and we
Yep.
did a gig with Fairport out in Germany. And on the way back, Peggy was like, I need a light for my cigarette, Andy, And I'm like, okay, I'll give you a light for your cigarette. You give us a gig at Cropperty. How does that sound?
There you go.
And yeah, and he was addicted, so he took the deal. So yeah, I've been wanting to get back and do that gig ever since. So when Peggy emailed me and said I'd like you to do Cropperty this year, I was through the roof, man. Through the roof.
Have you done any of the cruises? The Prague cruises and
That's the one I've been chasing, man. That's
you've been
the one I've
chasing that. You should be on that with those cruises,
Well, yeah. It's you can't break into the inner sanctum. You need a
Right.
kind of you need a contact.
Mhm.
But I'm hearing some positive noises coming out.
Okay.
out there. So I think we might get it. I believe we will get it eventually, one way or another.
That'd be great. If I can help in any way, I mean,
Well, if you know Larry or any of the Cruise to the Edge boys,
Right.
Cruise to the Edge, yeah.
Cruise to
they're
the
pretty
Edge, yeah.
nice.
I know all
Yeah,
the bands that are on there,
yeah.
interviewed
Yeah.
them all.
That's the one we want, I
Yeah.
mean, Big Train were a huge hit out there last year, and they're back again this year.
Mhm.
So yeah, fingers crossed. They'll give us a shot, which should be great.
If I had the money, I'd put together, because one of my dreams has always been to be a promoter.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Because in the past, I wasn't an entrepreneur. I owned several businesses and that kind of thing. But I'd like to put a prog tour in the United States, about 4 or 5 bands, and just tour the U.S.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I know all these guys. It's just a matter
Yeah.
of,
Yeah. Everyone, man.
yeah.
So yeah, no, it's just making these things work
Hmm.
financially. I mean, I don't know. The States I don't know anything about that, but I tell you, here it's really tough, man, to take an 8-piece band out and do a gig,
Yeah.
and give everyone at least something for doing it. It's a tough call. And actually, I mentioned Tesseract earlier. So they played Wembley with Dream Theater last year.
Nice.
They headline big festivals. They do big tours, and I'm like to Ackle, yeah. So are you making some money? And he said no, because the thing is, as the gigs get bigger, the production gets bigger, the costs get
That's
bigger,
true.
and it's a real tough one, especially with venues and ticket sellers taking big chunks, man. There are guys making serious money out of this, but it ain't the musicians.
No.
That's for sure.
Everybody I talk to, they're in like 3 bands.
Yeah.
Even like Neil Morris and guys like that, they're on a bunch of bands. You have to be, I guess.
Yeah, you got to do a whole load of stuff. Everyone I know is the same.
Mhm.
No one, I don't know anyone who lives off original music.
No.
Just lives off music.
Not anymore.
They all need another income stream, and you have to be smart about it. You have to figure out ways of
Even the legends. I talked to Dave Mason. I says, "You got an album coming out?" He says, "No. What for? Who's going to buy it?"
Yeah, I mean, and there are legends of folk legends, for example. Because I know people in the folk field, that are big names, man, big names that were on big albums in the 70s and the 80s.
I know.
They're old men now, right?
Yeah.
And they have nothing.
I know.
They got no pension, they got no property, they got nothing. And yet they're superstar status in their field. I mean, what?
Yep. That's
He's
why I
great.
want him on my show, because I had Tom Paxton on my show. You know,
Okay.
Tom Paxton was,
Yeah.
a legend for years. He's
Yeah.
in his 80s now,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. People like Ashley Hutchings. You've heard
right.
of him? He was in Fairport. I
Hmm.
mean, these guys. I mean, I guess Richard Thompson's probably okay, but he won't be. He won't be a wealthy man.
Yeah.
And most of those guys, they got nothing, because the thing is, they're not. They weren't thinking about, how am I going to survive in 60 years' time? They're all
Yeah.
in record deals which make them nothing really.
Right.
They're all signing deals that don't give them a decent royalty further down the
I
road.
know.
No, they've got nothing to invest, or they don't invest it if they do, and it's hard. It's hard.
That's why they're
But
selling all their catalogs. They're all selling their catalogs now,
that,
and
that's right.
guitars,
Yeah,
and their
yeah, that's right.
guitars.
Yeah.
I'm friends with Roger Fisher, who's a guitar player from Heart.
Oh, right.
He's
Yeah.
on Facebook now selling guitars, selling a bunch of his guitars.
Wow. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah,
It's tough, man.
it is
It's
tough.
tough. But I'm not complaining at all. I mean, I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
I do all my teaching, and I
Hey,
do my
you
thing,
got your
and
health, you got a beautiful family. That's all
exactly.
it takes.
And I got
You
a
look,
beautiful band,
you look great,
and
by
it's
the way. How old are you?
64.
I'm 66.
Wow, you
So
look
we
good
both
too,
look okay,
man.
right?
We look good. We're doing fine.
We made
We're
it.
doing, yeah. Nice one, man.
Yeah, man, you look great. You don't look your age at all. So and
Well,
and
it's working.
and don't cut the hair.
Yeah. My advice is work with young people. They keep you young,
They do.
'Cause
That's
they do,
true.
because they have that attitude and that kind of youthful energy, and you better keep up, man, or
That's right.
there's the door.
That's right.
It's good for you.
You got some good gigs coming up. Some gigs that are going to be fun. Nottingham. That's got to be a cool place to play, huh?
Yeah, we're breaking out a little bit. We're going into Wales to play
Hmm.
in Cardiff, which I haven't done
Oh,
before.
nice.
We're going a bit further north than we've done before. Still, people are going, well, you're not coming far north enough. You're not playing in the northwest. You're playing all this stuff. I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, give it, be patient, man.
Be patient. Yeah.
We're spreading our wings gradually,
Yeah.
There's some nice shows on the tour. I just hope people come along.
Of course, you'll be in London, and
Oh yeah, the Dome in London will be good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd imagine like Amsterdam would love you guys.
Well, we've played the Border Eye a couple of times, which
Right.
is very close to Amsterdam, and
Hmm.
but we need to, and again, they've been festivals, so that's okay. We can go and do that, but we don't have a big enough profile to
Hmm.
just us go and headline a lot of these places.
Yeah,
So we're building it, and we'll get there.
you'll get there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the logo, by the way, the band logo. That's really cool.
Well, that's Sean Blake, who made the documentary and did all the artwork. He
That's great.
does everything, which it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the Clann. He did the Clann logo as well, which I also really like. This thing. It's great.
Yeah, I like that.
And
Yep.
that's from sort of Celtic rope work.
Hmm.
That's where he got that vibe from.
Hmm.
But yeah, he's a great guy, and like so many others, he just does it to help. As he does it for the love of the music.
Love the music. Yeah.
So if we had to pay him, it wouldn't be impossible. But there's so many people like that. So many
Yeah.
people like that will just
Sure.
that want to help.
Yeah.
So
Well, call me anytime if I could ever help you with gigs in this area. I know some promoters and I know a lot of venues. So
Okay. Well,
yeah.
okay. Stand by, man.
Okay. I know some good
Yeah,
venues for
bro.
you guys. It'd be perfect
Awesome.
for you. Eddie,
Okay.
here's your final question. I've asked you this before. I'm going to ask it to you again. Maybe your answer changed. If you had a Field of Dreams wish, like the movie, to perform or collaborate with anyone from the past or present, who would that be?
Oh man.
You can create a whole band if you want.
Okay, so here's the thing that you'll think is mad. My wife thought I was completely mad.
Hmm.
Pete thought I was completely mad. I got invited to go out to the States to jam with Chester Thompson,
Yeah.
and with some other super heavy musicians,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I'm just terrified at the thought of doing that.
Why?
Right? Because I just don't. I know I can do what I can do,
Right.
but you know, when I'm put in a room with incredible musicians that can play anything, I would just feel completely out of my depth. That's the truth, you know. It would scare me, you know. I mean, I've kind of been there. I did the session thing for a while, and I realized then that, you know, I can do what I can do, you know, and I love doing that, and I think I can say something through that.
Right.
But when I'm just put in a position where I've got to turn it on, and you know, there's these guys, you know, I just feel out of my depth, so I turned down the opportunity because of, I know, right? And I mean, I know it sounds mad. So I don't know what answer I gave last time, but the truth is that I am playing with the people that I want to play with.
Good. That's a good answer. Yeah.
You know, and
yeah,
I love the idea of collaboration, and we've had, you know, people collaborate on the last album and on this album. And I'm really up for that, and I love the fact, you know, that we're playing with someone like Leonie, who is, you know, who is technically a way better guitar player than me, but I love that. But because she's playing on my terms, my music,
sure,
right? But yeah, I'm playing with the people I want to play with.
Good.
And there it is. That's the true answer.
Yeah. You know, Chester might be my next interview because he's in. He did an album now with Neil Morris, Phil Keaggy.
Yes, the Cosmic Cathedral.
Yeah. And
I hope they're going to be the band we're playing with. Summer. I don't know if I think at the moment it just says Neil Morse and Friends,
right?
So it could be anybody. But I'd be thrilled if it was.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Oh, mate. Yeah.
Well, you can't. If he invites you to play, you better play this time. if he's on the same bill.
Yeah. I prepare something that would be fine. It was just this was going to be like in a room in front of a small audience. You know, we just want you to come and jam with these incredible players.
Yeah. You should have gone. You should have gone.
Yeah. Probably should have gone, but you know.
Yeah. I met Chester back in 1979 at a Peaches record store when he was with Genesis. The whole band was there signing, you know.
Oh, I see, doing a signing.
Yeah, he was doing the signing and Phil Collins was there and the rest of the band. Yeah. Steve Hackett wasn't there. I think Steve left the band. See, that's one guy you should hook up with, Steve Hackett.
Yeah, we've been in the same room a few times, and we're doing a lot of the same, you know, the small gigs that he does, like Trading Boundaries. We've done that, so we're kind of close. We're kind of close. We just haven't actually connected yet, but
you know,
that could happen for sure.
Have your wife and his wife, Joe, get together, get pals. You're in.
Cool.
That's all it takes. Andy, I want to thank you, man, for being on the show. It's always great to see you. I love the band. The album's fantastic. By the way, I did give it 5 stars. And
oh man, thank you.
I'm going to promote the hell out of it for you because it's a great album. I do want to say special thanks to Roy Avon of Royal Avenue Media for arranging this interview.
Roy's been great.
Roy's a good guy. You can purchase the new album by Solstice, Clann, featuring Firefly. And I do have a website, the essentials.progrock.com.product/Solstice Clann. But is it going to be on Amazon or any other avenues?
Yeah, it'll come out. It'll be out everywhere, you know. But solsticeprog.uk actually is the easier one to remember. Probably, but you can find out where to get stuff from there. But it'll be everywhere, Burning Shed and all those places.
And you guys are on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, And you got Andy's Guitar Corner, which is on your website.
Yeah.
And you'll be touring. Nice, lengthy tour coming up.
Yeah,
man. Andy, good to see you. My best to the family, to your wife.
Thank you.
To the rest of the band, and we'll see you again soon.
It's great to chat, man. All the best, buddy. Thank you.
You too, man. Have a good time on tour, all right?
We will.
Okay. Take care.
Thanks, man. Okay,
bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us on Interviewing the Legends with Ray Shasho as we celebrate our 14-year